you doing this morning?
I'm very good, thanks, and yourself. And thanks so much for having me today. What an amazing way to start your Motivation Monday.
Yeah, absolutely. And I felt so bad last week. Obviously, no voice. You can hear my voice is back now. I don't sound like I'm croaking anymore. It was seriously bad. And I felt so terrible because I was so excited for the conversation that I was like, oh man, but I'm glad we've rescheduled for today. I really am.
Absolutely. I always believe in perfect timing. And for me, there is someone that's going to be tuned in today that needs to get the message that would have missed it last week, Monday. So absolutely. I've got full faith that today is the day that you and I are supposed to connect.
Elsubie, for our listeners out there, as I said, first and foremost, very, very welcome to the Breakfast Box. I want to let's ask you to give our listeners a little bit more about who you, Elsubie Verlinden, is.
Okay, Elsubie Verlinden is a proud mother of 3 amazing children. I have entered the film and fashion industry in 1997, which is 24 years ago. I have been working as a commercial model and actress, and then ultimately 13 years decided that it's time to become an agent. I saw an opportunity to give back to the industry what I never had, international education, as well as international opportunities for local talent to take their talent international. Those are the ultimate driving forces behind me being an agent and just allowing first world opportunities in our third world country.
Oh, absolutely phenomenal. And it's so great to have this kind of conversation, purely because I'm not just a radio presenter. I'm also an artist PR, and I do a lot of that kind of work with radio plugins. So I know exactly where you're kind of heading towards and how you want to get our local talent the exposure that they deserve, obviously on the international platforms. And you have started a new project now recently, which this is exactly why we are having this conversation. And it is called Live Your Dream. Could you tell our listeners a bit more about how, first and foremost, this whole project came about and then what it entails?
So basically, growing up, my upbringing was a little bit less fortunate than most of the other models and artists in the industry. So from my side, my parents were never able to give me all the fancy clothes and all the fancy little modeling dresses and, everything that fakes perfection. Yeah. Because throughout the years, I learned that your perfection is within your potential, which is within your passion, and that is internal. So live your dream is something that I always stood by. I was always living my best life every single day. No matter what my outside brand looked like, I own my potential. So it was really something for me and for my side that was purpose-driven for many years in my life, because while I was living my dream, so many others lost hope and they gave up because they were not educated and empowered in terms of what does it truly take to work as an industry professional. And another thing is, there's so many people in our industry that it's not regulated. So it's so easy to call yourself an agent and to call yourself these great big names and give yourselves these titles. Because there's no regulation that really takes care of these things, a lot of artists quit living their dream because there were too many fake promises. And I said, it's about 5 years now, I really want to get these national auditions that we are doing, how we empower and educate models, actors, singers, and dancers from all backgrounds. And this for me is very important. This is not for the perfect people. This is for people with potential and purpose. Aspiring artists needing a little bit of guidance and direction, not just the perfect ones, the established ones. I want real people that want to live their dream the same way that I wanted to live mine and every day lived it, no matter what the circumstances.
Oh, yes. So powerful. And, this is exactly why we had to connect in this conversation, purely because this is what we are about as well. Not just Chapter One Radio as a brand, but myself personally, this is what I've invested. I mean, I started Chapter One Radio 2 years ago by myself. Literally, I started the platform, and it was all about just giving our local talents the exposure that they didn't get necessarily, weren't a big household name. And for me, that is a massive issue that we have, and it still continues growing in that way. But I think that, we're now finally starting to get more people actually taking note of what we're doing. And I think that is really just come from being someone that knocks on people's doors 24/7. You're not just going to go knock and get a no. You're going to go knock again tomorrow and try and get a yes from the same person. Because that is what this industry needs. It needs that kind of perseverance and motivation. And it needs people like yourself and so many others that I've spoken to in the past few months that are actually just trying to make a difference in somebody's life one day at a time. That is phenomenal work. Really, really phenomenal work. And I really was excited when, as I said, I was excited to get this conversation going purely because your dream and your vision is very much aligned to what we are about as well personally, is because we want to see people prosper. We want to see more people being empowered with a skill set or just something that they can, a passion that they can actually pursue a career with. Now that is absolutely phenomenal. So the move forward would be Your Dream TV show. Now, how did this come about, and what exactly is it consist of?
So Be Your Dream, in collaboration with Live Your Dream, is ultimately going to record and channel all our national auditions. So we are traveling to Cape Town this weekend, and I'm so excited. We're getting on a plane. It's the first time in, my goodness, just over 2 years that our team is traveling to Cape Town. Oh, wow. And this time it's for televised auditions. I'm going to present a 90-minute industry-related film, fashion, as well as the power of media and branding workshop, just to empower and educate the artists to understand what it really takes to be an artist or an industry professional. You and I can speak that language, but because we make it look so easy sometimes, there's a lot of people that they don't understand that you're entering an industry that is based upon rejection. So you need to have that internal strength. You need to know how to communicate with yourself. I mean, I went to auditions for 2 years and never booked a job.
Sure.
I mean, by that time, most people will quit. But in my family, quitting is never an option. I always say there's nothing like a problem. It's an opportunity.
Yes.
So life gave me multiple opportunities, and I can tell you, I can in any time, in any situation, be able to strategically plan anything within my future or even in my household with my children, because that is what the industry taught me.
Yes.
And we're going to be at the Protea Hotel by Marriott, Cape Town Waterfront Hotel, Breakwater Lodge. Now that is a whole mouthful, but that is where the listeners can find us this Saturday. We're going to be in Cape Town. We're going to educate. We're going to empower. And we are shooting our Cape Town auditions to see what it is that the talent in Cape Town looks like, as well as get them educated so that they're empowered and they can move from aspiring to established.
Oh, that is phenomenal work. I wanted to, obviously, you touched on having that shot. It's going to be an hour and a half show, basically, a segment where you're going to be giving these classes out and educating our artists, and no matter who they are, basically. But is it going to be available for the general public as well to view?
So it's going to be broadcast as from mid-July. We are going to be on channel 147 every Saturday, 12 o'clock, with a replay on Tuesday and Thursdays at 12. So yes, the general public will be able to see. And why is this important for me?
Yes.
As a director and a producer, an agent, it's very important for me to empower and get the general public to understand that being a model, actor, singer, or a dancer can be a real career. It's not just some fairy tale, imaginary, like, I want to be a model. No, you can have a real career. And that is where I want to also inspire and educate the general public so that parents can be more supportive of their kids wanting to go and study film or wanting to go study filmmaking or like musical theater, to understand that if you align with the right people and you've got the right knowledge, you will be able to make a real career out of it.
So good. And I love that you want to actually educate the parents at home as well, which is an absolutely phenomenal thing. Because I do feel that, especially in today's day and age, it's very difficult for parents to actually support their young ones that are actually so passionate, or have got a skill set, like singing or acting or dancing. And the parents, first of all, may not know how to actually go about doing it in the industry and going about in the industry first and foremost. So the education is very important, but also financially. Some of these things, over and above some of the other places, organizations that are out there, it costs a fortune to try and get yourself into a decent dancing school, or and that's something that most of our parents, I think, today's day and age, are really going to battle with. How would you look at that and try and obviously change that concept or dynamic of a person thinking that way?
The thing is, if you want to become a chef, you need to pay to go and do baking classes.
Yep.
If you want to become a doctor, you're going to be unemployed for 7 years and then go and work for the government for another 2 to 3 years. So for 10 years, you've got no income.
Yeah.
So, each industry that you enter and each career path requires self-investments.
Yes.
You had to invest in your studio, your voice, your education, your equipment. It's the same as someone who's going to study to be a chartered accountant. Parents will still be liable for their accommodation. They'll still be liable for their monthly expenses and pocket money until the education is done. And guess what? Then a job is not even guaranteed. So in the midst of the storm, we as artists are making money while people are losing their real careers and jobs, because entertainers right now, you and I are online, we can work, we can get paid. My models in New York are getting brands and clothing items delivered to them. They have a little set up in their flat at home or in their flat in America. They shoot with a little tripod, they submit it to the client and they get paid. So we actually have one of the best industries in this point in time, because technically you can self-tape voiceovers. I mean, I've done so many voiceovers in the last month, and I didn't have to leave my house. So there's so much. A lot of people always want to go and look for the negative. I believe that you look what you find for. If you want to find a reason for why you're going to fail as an actress in film, or why you're going to fail as a dancer because it's costing too much, how are you going to pay to go and get a degree, because that also costs money? No one comes and say, you look like you're going to be a great doctor. Wow. I think you're a good doctor, so we're going to pay your studies, That's always just my little sense of humor, where I'm it always fascinates me when I speak to individuals that say, but the dancing classes are like $250. You know what? When you go to McDonald's on a Friday afternoon and you get McDonald's, that's also $250. So sacrifice and invest in yourself. When I was growing up, my parents, my dad works in construction. I packed the packets at my mom's till. She was working as a cashier at the spa. I packed packets after school in East London at Amalinda Spa when I was 13 years old to pay for my modeling classes. I didn't ask my parents. I said, this is my dream. So a lot of kids today just want to say, Mom and Dad, please give. I can't go waiter at the Spur, or I can't go pack packets like Elsubie at the spa, because it's all ego. I had no ego. I was filled with a rich dream, and I said, whatever it takes. And I think the youth today should stop depending that much on their parents and say, let me invest in myself, because this is my life.
Yes. I was going to say, preach. Carry on, preach.
I'm getting very excited right now.
The excitement is good, because it means you're very passionate about what you're doing, Elsa. And that is, some people take it and they go, but wow, that's a lot of talking. It's not really. It's about being passionate about what you're doing, what you believe in, and what you've achieved in the past how many years is phenomenal, because you've had that mindset, you've had that drive and that vision to move forward in your own capacity, which is absolutely phenomenal. And I agree with you when you say that. I think the youth of today need to catch a wake-up slightly. They very entitled. They're very entitled. That's the word I love using, because they feel like everything needs to be given to them on a silver platter. But that's not the way it works. If you're not passionate about what you want to do, or if you want to achieve something, then you've got to go out there. No one's going to give it to you. No one's going to give it to you in a little envelope and say, there you go.
No.
Thank you so much, really. But that's not the way it works. I want to really
I wish.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, my story is actually quite different. I mean, I personally only started doing radio 5 years ago, or 6 years ago. And it was because I was in artist management back then. I was an artist manager, and we started working with a community radio station in Cape Town. And they obviously needed some presenters and stuff, because it is a community station. The guys don't get paid. So it's all about just getting that experience and trying to get your name out there. That's what it was all about. And they interviewed me, and all of a sudden I became a sports presenter on a show. So I was like, okay, this is interesting.
Oh, wow.
And from there, the bug really just bit. Literally, I focused on it. I started teaching and learning as much as I possibly can from the radio station itself. And within 3 months, I was anchoring my own show. So it's all about that self-motivation.
Wow.
It's about wanting something badly enough to actually try and get it yourself, instead of expecting it to be given to you.
Yeah.
So definitely, I take my hats off to you. Really, I do. And I do feel that what you're doing right now is going to be a seriously great and empowering more individuals, and especially the youth of South Africa that just need a bit of guidance. They just need a bit of a headway to see which way they need to go.
Absolutely. And especially in a time like this, the only thing that we can give our children right now is the hope of a better future. And the only way to create hope is if you can educate and empower.
Yes.
And the thing that we do as well is we're a union-based agency in South Africa. So not only do we empower and educate, we also do talent placements.
Yes.
So we book TV commercials, soapies, we do international and local films.
Sure.
We do Fashion Week. We've got international model placement departments within our agency. We work with the New York Film Academy to secure international education. So there's just so much that's going to come through Live Your Dream to the screens of the ordinary and the extraordinary public. But my ultimate heart goes out to those individuals such as myself that could never afford to go and study and obtain a degree. And then they quit on their dreams because of the lack of education.
So
and
true.
That's where my heart lies. You know, just because you couldn't go and study a degree, 90% of artists I have on book don't have degrees.
Yeah.
And they are working. Some of them are six-figure earning artists, and they don't have a degree. I'm not saying they're uneducated. We educate them.
Yes.
But they don't go to college or university for 3 years. And I want to be able to create a momentum like I have in the last 13 years, saying that if the dream is big enough, the facts don't count. And if you get the right training weekly and you surround yourself with industry professionals, you get on set and you're hungry, you will work. And that is what we are going to show, is that ordinary people with extraordinary dreams can definitely make it. And I can tell you one thing now, that Protea Hotel by Marriott, Cape Town Waterfront, Breakwater Lodge is going to see the roof coming down. I don't think they are ready for us. And Cape Town, I don't think you are ready to receive what I have got to offer. We are coming in hard. I'm coming in with years of experience, 24 years, and we are ultimately going to break it down and allow these individuals to become professional working artists. And just realign that idea of I want to be to I am.
Yes.
That's the difference.
Yes. I absolutely love it. I must be honest, I've spoken to one of your ladies already. Gabrielle was on our show about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow. She's dynamic.
She's dynamic. Seriously. Now, I started seeing something on her socials now with regards to saying that she's going to be performing in as well. So she's not just an artist, she's become an actress as well. So, and she's a model and everything else that goes with it. It's so crazy to see it. And for a 14-year-old to be so dynamic and so driven, I can tell you now that it must be some of your influence as an agency as well. So
you see, that's what I'm saying. It's like no matter what the age of the artist, we ultimately strive towards getting into triple threats such as Gabby. You know, it doesn't just help you're a great actress but you can't sing, or you're a great model but you can't act. You need to be multi-talented, and that's what we cultivate. That's what we nurture. So as an agency, it's not just about let's get all the perfect people and put them on set. It's like let's invest in the 14-year-olds as well, because they're the future of this nation. Gabby booked a seriously big lead role in a national film where she went for she first did a self-tape and then went for the audition. So she's going to come out as a lead in a large national film. Now, that is all by the guidance of what it is that we do. The training, Gabby has come to 3 training camps with us where we empower and educate and equip you to be a model, actor, singer, and dancer. I always have a joke. I say, if you haven't started singing by 8, please don't start by us. But that's just, singing is a little bit more specialized, but actually modeling and dancing can be taught. I'm a firm believer that at any age you can still learn singing as well, but I'm like a little bit more skeptical there. Dancing, modeling, and acting is a skill that you can be taught, and it's something that you can.
Absolutely.
If you've got it, you've got it, So that's just my thing, and I'm so excited to be in Cape Town this weekend and just to see what the talent is going to bring. I'm absolutely humbled to be able to reach out to Cape Town, especially after this very difficult time. I know what the mindset of the youth and the people look like in this time. I'm surrounded by so many parents, as well as my own children being like, I've got a 17-year-old, an 11-year-old, I see what they're going through, the stuff that they're hearing at school, the future, the future that is being jeopardized. So I'm really excited to bring some source and some energy to Cape Town and just say, let's catch a wake up. It's time to take back responsibility for your own life. Accept where you are at, but let's take the responsibility for you to take yourself where you want to be, because your time is now.
Yes, absolutely. Elsubie, I want to just thank you, but I want to finish off the conversation with Cape Town. Yes, what is up next after Cape Town for you guys?
So after Cape Town, we are going to Durban, and we're keeping it close to the beach, eh?
Yeah.
We're going to Cape Town, then Durban, and then we're going to my hometown, East London. We're going to host auditions in East London. Then we're back to Johannesburg, and then ultimately we're going to Bloemfontein. We're going to Kathu. Wow. We're also going to see all these small towns where people never get discovered. So we're not just going for the big cities. We are going to the small cities as well. I mean, Kathu and Kimberley will see us in town this year, So we're really going out to find those rough diamonds, those that just have the potential, but no one has ever made an effort to be there.
Oh, that's awesome.
We will be there.
That is awesome. Elsubie, thank you so much. It's been an absolutely phenomenal conversation, and it's so great to have this conversation. I am looking forward to hearing more about what's happening. I'll definitely be in contact with you, because I know I've got quite a few things I want to discuss in our private capacity with you.
So that'll really be amazing. So any listeners that want to follow the journey or get more information, they can go onto our Instagram, ITS Arts Africa. It's Arts Africa. Or you can follow me on Instagram, talent_agent_33, just to ensure that you get pre-registered, so that when you arrive at the Protea Hotel by Marriott, Cape Town waterfront, Breakwater Lodge, you are prepared and ready for action and ultimate greatness.
It's absolutely phenomenal. Elsubie, you've been an absolute star. Thank you for coming on to the Breakfast Box. It's been great having a conversation with you, and I look forward to having more.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. Guys, Elsubie Verlinden, what an awesome lady. What a great conversation that was as well. And, we're going to go into one break.